Hello, my name is Namir uh, Badr Aziz Yassour, and I'm a student at the class Public Discourse 705 Social Work. Today I'm presenting my presentation about de-incarceration, smart de-incarceration, and uh, first to give a background. Um, the justice system and a crime is a very complicated um, a problem in the United States and in the world general. But we and I'm concentrating today on speaking about de-incarceration in the United States of America. Many crimes can be put under minor or major crimes. As the legal term goes, um, misdemeanors and felonies, and so on. Of course, it's very important to give a background. Who and what constitute a major or a minor crime? Uh, Therefore, this is the example. Misdemeanor usually is a charge for lesser crimes, and felonies are charged for a major crime. But let's talk about smart decarceration. The concentration should be by the law and the justice system on major crimes like murder, assault, armed robbery, rape, and so on. These are major crimes that involve the harming of other people's life by an individual or group of people. Now, there is many crimes. Sadly, they all lump together. But what sadly and outrageous is to create a true smart de-incarceration, we cannot lump crimes or so-called infractions and call them crimes and lump them with the crimes I mentioned earlier, which is, murder, assault, armed robbery, and rape. For example, petty theft, between parentheses, shoplifting, have become such a big issue in the public discourse. Um, Many of those cases, sadly, um, have become a present, and many of the people in perpetrating those minor infractions, especially petty theft that doesn't amount more than $500 or less, uh, have paid some of them with their lives. And yet, to the contrary, we see sometimes crimes of the higher level, like murder and higher theft, and armed robbery and assault and rape. Some of the perpetrators are out in public. Now, before we go and give examples, we need to understand what is the meaning of smart de-incarceration. Well, the meaning of smart de-incarceration is to reduce the effect on the justice system, on the prison system. The United States have the highest prison population. And that is due to too many prosecution errors and too many infractions that is labeled as crimes. Therefore, if we look, and I'm going to give an example, there was a case, a famous case, by a pregnant lady. She's an immigrant from Nicaragua. Her name was Martirice Velasquez. She was shopping at TJ Maxx when she was in New Jersey when she was arrested because she took a breast pump from Target. She was arrested, booked, but then released afterward. Now let's just picture this. Just being arrested, a pregnant lady of 40 weeks, almost about to give birth. It would have been simple for the store and the police to withdraw charges, or an example of smart de-incarceration, how some other stores in some other areas, back in the day, if you didn't have money to pay for the food you ate at a restaurant, you can work. The store will force you, and it can be work between the police. The proper course of action for a smart de-incarceration would have been to give this lady a warning, tell her after she give birth, she make up the losses of what she stole by working those hours in the store instead of this harsh punishment. Give people a chance. Sadly, she's not the only pregnant lady that suffered fate. In fact, another pregnant lady in Denver, Colorado, was shot to death even though she was not a shoplifter. This mistake by police against another lady named Destiny Thompson led to this tragic ending. Sadly, we can give an example. These are two examples, or one example, of petty theft. But let's take a look at how banks are embezzling millions of dollars. In a ruling against Bank of America, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau ordered Bank of America to pay more than $100 million to customers for systematically double dipping on fees imposed on customers for insufficient fund in their account, withholding rewards, bonuses explicitly promised to credit card customers, and misappropriating sensitive personal information to open account without customer knowledge or authorization. This ruling brought some justice. Personally, I spoke years ago with members of Bank of America because I do bank with Bank of America, unfortunately. And I told them, I have been charged transaction fee unfairly. Yes, they reimburse me some, not all my losses. And I brought this attention to higher level of corporate. I called the Consumer Bureau. And I don't know, I don't want to take a credit for this big accomplishment, but maybe I had some hand in it, because this $100 million ruling against Bank of America made me happy. I was the only one who made the correlation and the connection. Why those bankers, even though they paid $100 million, none of them went to jail? Look at the numbers. Unbelievable amount of money embezzled from hundreds, thousands, maybe sometimes millions of customers. Bank of America is the second largest bank in the US. And yet, nobody went to jail. The bank can afford it. They can pay fines. But that lady, the pregnant lady, she doesn't have that kind of money. So, the thing is, does not a smart de-incarceration. The big and wealthy, they get away with a lot of that stuff, while the poor commit small infractions, and then they suffer the worst outcome. As the solution, what is the solution? This ruling against Bank of America is one of the solutions, but it's not the end. We need to give options. Incarceration should be the last option for small and minor crime. Community service could be. Don't destroy their record. Don't give them an arrest, which make them hard to work and find jobs. Then they're going to spend the rest of their life trying to clear their record. Give them an opportunity so they can learn. And many people will find the light. But by putting people in jail and giving them a record, they cannot even get even an easy job. And what happened? You're making somebody who commit small infraction, you're throwing them into crime, into the street, into homelessness, into the arms of real criminals who is going to recruit them. That's not the solution. The solution is give them hope. Give them some education. After all, incarceration is to rehabilitate, not to punish always. Yeah, punish the murderers. Punish the higher crimes. But those ones, society should save them before they go into the wrong hands. Another example, in the 70s, there was a famous case, Mary Ragiante. She was the head of parolees, and she uncovered huge corruption of bribes against the governor of Tennessee back. And she endured an unbelievable war on her. Eventually, the governor was convicted, Ray Blanton. But it's funny. He made all those crimes and he was convicted and served less than a year. There's people who have been serving years for petty or smaller crimes than that. I'll give you another example that shows some people who are powerful can get away. That's not a smart de-incarceration. That is a problematic. Statistically, we need to work harder to find a solution to this problem and to compare and contrast. Many people who commit high crimes, another example, George Zimmerman, who murdered Trayvon Martin. Regardless what was the cause, a person have died. And yet, George Zimmerman's out. But people with a lot less crimes, they're in jail now. So, the solution is, like I stated earlier, don't be easy on crime, even if they're small, but give chances. People with no prior criminal record should get the benefit of the doubt, especially if they commit small infractions. Small fine, community service, workshop, forcing them to take classes. Just like when you commit a traffic violation, to delete it, you take some online course. That's the best course of action. Instead of doing harsh punishment that can destroy people. And with that, I would love for everybody to keep an open mind that we're not supporting petty crime. We are trying to lower the prison population by giving chances to people, but not being easy on crime, and give priority to higher crimes and be equal for people who commit higher crime, but they are powerful. Thank you and have a good day.